Congratulations, it's time to delegate. Let's talk about different kinds of delegation. Although there are many, I'm going to focus on two here today. Let's think of them as opposite ends of a larger spectrum. There's one which is something so easy to you that you can hand off to somebody and almost anybody can just take that step-by-step process and run with it. The other end of the spectrum is something that you don't really know how to do, and you hand it off to somebody so that they can take it and run with it. These are very different delegation situations, and one where I'm going to teach you how to not only recognize them, but make sure that you're treating it the right way. Because if you were to do it the other way around, it's not going to go well. My name's Leo. I'm a business coach. Let's jump right in. This is going to come from two books. One is called The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. The other one is a book called Linchpin by Seth Godin. These are books that explain methods of delegation, among a lot of other things, that I want you to consider when it comes time for you to delegate. Let's start with E-Myth. E-Myth teaches a protocol that's quite straightforward. Think McDonald's, where it teaches somebody how to make sure that they're flipping the right hamburger at the right time to create the right kind of burger so there's a consistent output. That business model is set up so that you can have a high schooler come in there and do the work and have an output that the business can profit from. Let's talk about the other end, linchpin. Linchpin, it's like a linchpin in a wheel, is a concept of somebody that can step in and do something far better than you. In fact, there are often going to be situations where linchpins are doing things that you're just not even capable of doing. So considering those two ends of the spectrum, let's talk about how ridiculous it would be to treat them the wrong way. So the way that you treat an E-Myth delegation situation is to get a very clear step-by-step method that you hand off to this person and say, follow the method, learn the method, do the method. For a linchpin, it's much more about, here's the output, the result, the thing that we're paying you for that we don't know how to create, and we're going to trust you and your expertise in order to make that happen. Now, if you were to give that person a step-by-step process for something that you've never done or really don't know how to do that well, they're going to try and follow it, usually, and it's just not going to be a win-win for anybody. In fact, their expertise might be frustrated because this process just isn't working. It's probably one of the reasons that you needed to hire them in the first place. Now, with an E-Myth person, these are people that you're giving a step-by-step process to so they can follow it to the T and see it through. If they didn't have that, now they're trying to figure it out. And this is where you have a process that feels so simple, so straightforward. Why can't they figure this out? It's because you didn't give them a solid enough process. So you want to recognize the situation you're in by asking yourself these key questions. One, is the thing that I'm delegating something that I really am an expert in? If so, let's go more towards E-Myth. Let's refine that a little bit more. Is it something that is repeatable and consistent to the extent that you could write down a step-by-step process and hand it off to somebody and they could get it done? Third, if it's more linchpin, you're going to ask yourself this question and say, is this something that I really struggle with? And I want to be really clear about that struggle. If you struggle with it, but you can still create a high quality, solid outcome, maybe that struggle is a part of the process. Some things are just more difficult than others. But if you struggle with it and the outcome is inconsistent, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, and usually it's going to lean more towards the bad, this might be more of a linchpin situation where you actually want to find an expert and ask them, hey, how can I make sure that this process is done better? So when you're looking at a situation, ask yourself those kinds of questions to figure out, is this more of a step-by-step E-Myth process, or is this much more of a find an expert and hand it off to them so that they can take it from here process? It's a corollary, it's not for certain, but in general, linchpin delegation is a bit more expensive. However, in the long run, it's one of the best things that you'll do, because believe me, if you're constantly pulling just from your own expertise or figuring things out, you're going to be limited. So recognize the difference between them and look forward to opportunities to do both so that you can grow your business and build it brick by brick so that it can become what you want it to be. My name's Leo. I'm a business coach. If you want help figuring out which end of the spectrum this diagnostic or this delegation process should be in, let me know. If you need help growing your business otherwise, we give diagnostic sessions, so feel free to check the description to apply and get our help. I wish you the best, and I'm glad that you're here.